we'll go with this one. So glucose. Well, actually, what is glucose?
Sugar.
Right?
Sugar.
Bigger, think bigger.
And what you use for cellular?
Carbohydrates. Gotcha.
Any carbohydrate you have has to break down into glucose, right?
Oh, I didn't
Remember
say
when we talked about in the chemistry
Either.
chapter, it talks about the disaccharide, all of them have to break down to get to glucose, okay? So you have your carbs, you're eating your carbs, you know, and all that has to break down to glucose before it can even get into and be used, okay? Make sense to everyone? Okay. So the glucose then goes into the glycolysis, or glycolysis, but we'll call it glycolysis. Now, when it goes in there, first of all, glycolysis needs niacin. Okay. What's niacin?
I have no idea.
Okay.
It is a mineral, trace mineral.
It's a vitamin.
Oh, it's fine. And if you take too much, you get a nice, cool, niacin flush.
Yes, niacin is a vitamin. So you actually have to have this vitamin in order for this to actually happen. Hence why you need to eat a balanced diet with all your niacin in it.
What would that be found in?
Hold on. Holding on. Meat, fish, grains, eggs, and legumes.
Legumes.
Legumes. Yes. Okay. Now, when the glucose goes in, okay, it hits that niacin in glycolysis or glycolysis, we're going to get 2 ATP. All right? We're going to get 2 NADH2, NAD. Okay? And we get 2, I can't read my writing, pyruvic acid. All right? Now, ATP is what? Energy. Okay? NAD, see niacin? NAD, niacin, hello, glycolysis, all right? And then we have pyruvic acid. Now, pyruvic acid we have when we are what we call aerobe. Anyone know what aerobic means? Like aerobic exercise?
With use of oxygen.
Requires oxygen. Okay? Now, so if we have oxygen, it's going to make pyruvic acid. If we don't have oxygen, we're going to have lactic acid. Anyone know what lactic acid does to you?
Ouch.
Shoot up.
Huh?
Ramps you up.
Yeah. So you know, like when you're working out or run, anyone here run?
No.
Not by
Why would you
not by
do that?
I only want to be in case.
Right? I'm with you. So that, you know how you get the pains in your muscles? It's that lack of oxygen, and now you're turning that into, or that glycogen or glucose into lactic acid, and that's, your body's going, can't use lactic acid, can't use it, hurt, pain, hurt, can't have it. All right? Now, where do these things go? Well, the ATP we need, right? The pyruvic acid goes here into the Krebs cycle. All right? When the pyruvic acid gets there, well, let me tell you what we need first. We need a whole lot for Krebs. Where's my need list? There it is. Yes, we need thiamine. What is thiamine?
Another vitamin.
Another vitamin. We need niacin here too. We need riboflavin. Another vitamin, guys. And we need, is it Panto or
Panto.
Pantothenic.
P-A-N-T-O-T-H-E-N-I-C.
Acid.
Yep.
Okay, so we need that in order for this to run. Okay,
This is part of the coenzyme.
we'll talk about coenzyme A here in a minute.
Talk about it later.
So, once we get into the Krebs cycle, what we're going to get is, we're going to get CO2. What is CO2?
Carbon dioxide.
It's a waste product, right?
Yep.
It is.
So that's where your CO2 comes in. You get 2 ATPs. So we've made 4 now, right? Okay. We make 3 NADs. And how many fads?
1.
Is it 1 fad?
Yeah.
1 fad. Okay. We also make a 4-carbon molecule. That's going to be used again. All right. So there's our waste product. There's another ATP. We have NAD and FAD and that. So with this, then we go into the cytochrome. Cytochrome requires iron and copper.
Minerals.
Fe and what's copper?
You.
Cu. Very good. Okay. So what happens is the NAD and the FAD here, the NAD here, all go over here.
So basically over there we have got 5 NADs and 1 FAD.
We got NAD, we got FAD, and we got the 4-carbon molecule.
Okay.
All go into cytochrome.
Okay.
Can you explain it again?
Sure. Where do you want me to start?
Just how you added them up to go over here.
Okay, so here in the first step, okay, the pyruvic acid goes to that second step. So we're going to
it's
hold
also
back
in-
this.
So it's
This
also-
can't be used in here.
Okay.
It has to go over here to cytochrome. So when we get here, we're making our CO2, we're making our ATP, and we also get NAD and FAD here. So that NAD and FAD from here, plus that NAD from here, all moves to the third step.
So it's 5.
You don't need to know how many. Just that NAD and FAD move to the third step.
Is it still the same thing as you have the NAD 2?
You just have 5 NADs and 1 FAD, that's all.
Yeah, but under glycosis, there's a 2 after the NAD.
Yeah, in the book it's the 2's after it in the Krebs cycle too.
Okay, I just didn't put it on there. I'm sorry.
What's it-
I'm sorry.
Oh, it is, okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's okay, I was just curious.
That's all right. No, that's a good thing to point out. That's not a bad thing. You're paying attention. That's good. So yes, you're the same thing. Does that makes better sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. All right. All right, so once we get to cytochrome, this is where the real magic happens.
There's magic.
There's magic. Ooh. Switch and flick. We get 25
ATPs.
ATPs.
Ooh.
We get water. Okay? NADFAD, 4-carbon molecule, goes to cytochrome, and this is what we get. Now remember, what's our original formula? We get what from like glucose?
It's CH.
CO2, water,
Yeah.
ATP, and heat.
Oh.
Okay. CO2, CO2, ATP, and water. And the heat's just there.
The heat's the energy.
The heat's the energy, okay?
Where did you get 25?
That's just how many it makes.
It
That's
just
the magic.
is.
That's the,
It
that's
just
what the magic
is,
happens.
Marissa.
We only get, you see here, it goes, boom, 25.
Alright.
It's just no, there's no.
No, there's
No.
Is that involved with this? No.
No, it's
No.
magic.
This is not magic.
mathematically correct.
You get a little bit here,
Little
a
bit.
little bit there, but
you're
this is the payoff.
You're not adding
This is like-
anything.
Right.
No.
This is like the $5
You don't add
scratch
any.
offs,
And
and this is Powerball, big time. Okay? Yes.
So the NAD and the FAD are in the cytochrome, it's just, you didn't write them down, you indicated it with arrows?
They're made here,
Uh-huh.
and they move here.
So they
would be wrote down.
they
over
would be
there,
part of
No.
the 20, no?
No,
They're used to make the ATP.
what's written down is what's made there. So in the cytochrome, in the Krebs cycle, you got the pyruvic acid and the NAD go into the Krebs. That makes CO2, the ATP, the NAD, the FAD, and the 4-carbon molecule. That's what you get in the Krebs cycle. So what do we do with that? Well, the CO2 is a waste. The ATP we'll hold on to because we want that. The other three move to the third step.
So they're
And-
used to create the
Yes,
stuff in
absolutely.
the
Those-
Yes.
yeah, change
Okay,
to
so
that.
they're used up?
Yes,
not
they're
carried
changed,
over.
yes,
Right.
Okay,
yes.
So we make
They
the
can't
next
be
one.
used in other places, that's how they get moved.
What does the pyruvic acid turn into again?
The pyruvic acid gets turned into the CO2, the ATP, the NAD, the FAD, and the 4-carbon molecule.
Everything
Yeah,
else
those
gets
two things
held
from the
out
first
somewhere else.
one turn into the next
so
one.
the
You
body
need those, they
uses
move
them.
into the next,
Yeah.
The next.
they make that stuff, and then those things move on to the next, and they make
Mhm.
this stuff.
And it takes this stuff to make that.
Right.
Is there any more
It's all gonna happen.
steps?
Well, we'll get there, yeah.
How do you get water if none of those things include oxygen?
But no, the pyruvic acid does.
Yes,
Because
because it's aerobic.
Yeah, but then you take that oxygen and put it with the CO2, which is waste product. So
It will make water.
It's magic.
It just does.
I don't.
So, oh, well, you're saying
Crazy
how do
one
you go
there.
from oxygen to carbon back to
Just
oxygen?
know that that's, yes.
To water?
Yeah, but if you look at the
That
makeup
is
of
more
glucose,
than
though.
you need to know for this,
Okay.
ever.
So just
Unless
know
you're
that
going
that's what
into
happens.
molecular science, you don't need, just let it go. I hate to say that, Tara, just let it go, baby girl. All right, just, the oxygen, the water we have is taking the H we already have, and it could be part of NAD and FAD, I don't know. I don't know exactly what's in NAD.
That was my next question. Is
That could actually contain some, that's a composition of stuff. So that could actually contain the oxygen, or the oxygen that you're looking for.
It's like, when your child asks you, Mommy, why is the sun yellow? Because it's a ball of fire. Okay, what makes up the ball of fire? Chemicals. What makes up the chemicals? There are certain levels that just go beyond, that what we need to know.
Yeah, this is the, yeah.
I don't like when things don't make sense.
I know that, and it would, if you were taking
Microbiology,
a
it makes
molecular
perfect sense.
science, that you needed to know this, but the chemistry that you need to know for this is not. All you need to know is NAD and FAD, and the 4-carbon molecule move from the Krebs cycle where they're made to the cytochrome cycle, and with those then together, they make ATP and water. Proteins, okay? Proteins, what are proteins broken down into, guys?
Amino acids.
Very good, amino acids. Now, when the amino acids, okay, first of all, glycolysis is for what?
Breaking down the glucose.
Glucose. Do you see glucose here?
No.
Okay.
They don't go through glycolysis because there's no glucose here.
So So they just jump to the Krebs cycle.
There you go. They
Just by
jump.
magic.
Yes.
So we're labeling that first set of that cycle the glycolysis. That's glycolysis. Wait, what's the whole thing?
This is cellular. The whole board is cellular
Cellular
respiration.
Okay, and
This is how carbohydrates are put through cellular respiration.
okay, that's what I thought.
Then we're going to go do proteins.
It's not a part of cellular respiration.
No, it is.
No, it's
No,
not
no,
a
it
part
just-
of the.
it just
It's
says-
not part of the
it-
first
it
column.
That's how
bypasses
the
this
proteins
first.
are broke down in cellular respiration, how the carbohydrates are broken down in cellular
Oh, okay.
respiration.
Cellular respiration is the glycolysis, the Krebs cycle, and the cytochrome.
Okay.
It takes those three
To go through cellular.
to go through cellular respiration.
In that order?
In that order, yes. Okay? But because we don't have glucose here, we don't have that one. Okay?
But this makes more sense to me than that.
All right, now, what does amino acids break down to? Anyone know? You're gonna love this.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Why do I have a feeling we're not gonna love this?
It breaks down to pyruvic acid and what we call, what I promise you we talk about, the acetyl group.
Okay.
ACETYL?
Uh-huh.
I've heard that before, why?
Okay. Actually, I don't like where they're at because it looks like it's in part of that. AC and CA. So pyruvic acid and the acetyl group. Okay, let's talk about this. Now the acetyl group, this comes from the amino acids, or it could actually come from fats, and we'll talk about that here in a minute. These then, since they don't go into here, where do you think they go?
Right
Go
to
to
the
the
Krebs cycle.
Wait, can I ask a quick question?
Yes,
In pyruvic, is that it's P?
PY,
RU, you
RU.
forgot the U up above.
Oh, okay, I was confused.
yes, pyruvic. Okay,
Thank you.
so the pyruvic and the acetyl group go to Krebs. Guess what we make in Krebs?
CO2. Hey. NADS.
That's and carbon.
So it breaks down the same. That's interesting.
Yes,
Even though it doesn't have the sugars.
correct.
That's why it doesn't go through the
Mm-hmm.
glycolysis, right? 'Cause it doesn't have the sugars.
So you get the same thing.
Mhm.
So then what do we do here?
Same thing.
Use the NAD and the FAD.
And we get,
ATP
25
and water.
more water.
so proteins break down to the amino acids, which breaks down further into pyruvic acid and the acetyl group. They bypass glycolysis because there's no glucose. They fit right into the Krebs cycle. They get taken in by the Krebs cycle. They make the CO2, the ATP, the NAD, the FAD, and the 4-carbon molecule.
Just not 3 now, just 1 now.
Well, I just put NAD and FAD. I didn't.
But
It's the
three.
same numbers.
It's
If
this
it makes you
thing.
feel better, I'll
Yeah,
put
yeah,
3.
put it from
I'll put 3 and 1. There you go. Okay? And then those go over here and make
Same thing.
the same thing
With the iron copper.
with the iron card. All of this stuff here,
Will always be used.
yes, they are required for that particular cycle of cellular respiration.
Basically, that's that cycle's gas.
Mm-hmm.
So it's gonna be the same as the top one.
Yes, as far as what it's needed. Yes, what's needed in the Krebs cycle is needed for all of it.
Every
So
every
the
protein that goes, everything that goes
acetyl
through the Krebs
is-
is need that.
Acetyl.
Similar to the glucose then?
Huh?
The acetyl is similar to the glucose?
Acetyl is made up of quite a bit of stuff. So it's carbon and it's oxygen and there's all kinds of things in it. So don't, just know that the proteins break down to the pyruvic acid and the acetyl group. You don't need to go into the acetyl group.
Well, that makes a little bit more sense where we get water than if there's oxygen in it.
Okay, if
It does.
I'm good. All right. So proteins, we got this one. All right, what's our last group? Fats, right? All right, so what do fats break down to?
Glycerol and fatty acids.
Glycerol and fatty acids. Now, do they further break down?
Pyruvic acid.
And what else?
Acid.
The acetyl group.
Yeah.
Okay?
Which then does the same thing and just goes.
So, you have fats that break down to glycerol and fatty acids. The glycerol breaks down to pyruvic acid. Is this sounding familiar? Fatty acids break down to the acetyl group. Do they go into glycolysis?
No.
Why?
No sugar.
It's not glucose.
Breakdown of sugars.
Okay? So then where do these go?
Carbs.
Carbs.
And what do we get here?
Same thing.
CO2, 2 ATP, 3 NADs, 1 fad, 4 carbs. 4 carbon.
So would we say the fatty acid and glycerol go over there, or do we say the pyruvic?
The pyruvic acid, the glycerol breaks down.
Okay, so the
Yes.
pyruvic acid.
So, what do you think happens then?
25
ATM
and
or ATP.
Well,